have
I'm
fun,
not even kidding you.
like,
When I came back, I remember sitting at home on my couch and I was like, what am I going to work today? Who's going to feed me? Like, what time is chow? And I
Mhm.
was like,
yeah,
what is happening? And I
yeah,
remember going to the Buckle to buy an outfit, and one of the girls helped me put it together because I didn't know what I was going to
Nice.
wear. And it's like your friends that you went to high school with, now they're married, and they have graduated college, they have kids, and like there are new buildings
Yeah.
or new restaurants. There's like all that's changed, and you're like, it's just so overwhelming.
yeah, everybody else's life kept going and you're, like, picking back up from
Yeah.
where it was a
And
year ago. And it's hard for people to understand that, like, both on both sides, the person that's in it and the people that you're dealing with, like, the people that didn't
And
stop,
I
so
didn't realize this until later, but I went from a combat environment, like being in the trenches of combat, to the classroom within like a month. And
Yeah.
so that was, I didn't have time to process what was happening. So that was something else. And, like I said,
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate that things worked out for me because I went straight into the mental health field. And one of the first classes I took was called HBAC, which is human behavior. And it goes
Mm.
from
oh,
like when
beautiful.
you're born
Yeah.
until death and how the brain works and all that. So that helped me a lot.
You're doing a lot of
Yeah, so that
self-diagnosing
really that really helped, and
as
I'm
you're
like,
taking
I'm
it.
looking at a lot of the individuals that I deployed with, and a lot of them had alcohol dependency. They fell into drugs. We had a lot of suicide, which is what led to start
Mhm.
OTW, outside the wire. And I see and I hear what they struggled with and how they were unable to cope, or they couldn't find the right help. And I was like, by the
Yeah.
grace of God, I ended up in this field, and I was able to cope with it because I understood the human brain and how PTSD and other mental health issues affected the brain. And I was running a lot, to the point where my husband was like, "You don't look healthy, and that's too much. Like, you need to slow down." And obviously I did ended up going to therapy for a little bit. I had a therapist who was not very good at first. She was young, and she was a civilian within the VA. And so it was not a positive experience. I left feeling worse. And so my husband encouraged me to go back. So I went back, and it was to the point where he was like, if you're not going, I'm taking you. And so I ended up seeing
Right.
someone, and it was a mail provider, and he had deployed. He was prior service, and he had been deployed where I was deployed. So we clicked. He understood, and I'm like, I felt at home with him. He
Yeah.
spoke the military lingo, you name it, and it was just like so soothing. And I was like, I want to be like him. I want to be more like him. Like, I want to make a difference. So that really also motivated me. And um, I've been really passionate about the veteran population, and um, I've been doing it since I got out and continue to serve in a different way. And I'm still doing it.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
realized that there was a, lacking veteran presence for advocacy in your area where you're at, and that kinda led you to, helping out there as well as creating Outside the
Yeah.
Wire, which, yeah, if you wanna talk about that and kinda what your purpose is there, what you're hoping to what you hope to get, and kinda how that all even
Yeah,
became a
so I'm
thing.
in a rural area of south of Kansas. I'm in southeast Kansas, and we are so small that we have no veteran services. Well, we have a couple now. Through one is through the Crawford County Mental Health, and I actually helped create that program. And then we didn't have any VSOs. We have one who comes down once a month, but one VSO to help so many vets, I mean, is crazy. We have a large veteran population.
Yeah. And and then just as so for anyone who's watching, a VSO is a veteran service officer, and they're basically the liaison between the veteran and the VA, helping them navigate the different benefits or the different structures within the VA. They are, at least in our area, very tasked. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
And
it's
and
the more veterans that you have, the less VSOs you have, the more of a struggle
Yeah.
it can be on
yeah,
both ends, both
and you
sides.
can have and a VSO is incredibly crucial, like, at least in my experience, to having a good
Yeah.
experience with the VA. If you have a bad VSO and they
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah,
your experience with with the VA is just going to be generally a really bad experience, and you have to fight more, you have to do more. It's just like it's an
more daunting.
incredible,
It's more
yeah,
of a daunting
incredibly
task.
hard experience. Having a good VSO that is knowledgeable, that cares and can connect you to the right resources, and it makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
so
So,
we don't really have
uh,
them in the
so
area. So I noticed I kept running into a lot of vets in our area, and when I was practicing social work and we were going to nursing homes, I saw that we had vets in nursing homes, and social workers didn't really, and a lot of people they don't really understand the VA and how it works. They don't know the difference between the health administration, the benefits administration, and the burial administration, and so
which we learned through
they
you.
are
They are
not
not
connected. I
connected. For anybody
know.
else that didn't know that, because I did not know that, which is absolutely
Yeah,
amazing to me that a
oftentimes working
system like
against
that.
yeah,
each other, right?
yeah.
Most of the time, I think.
And
Yeah, yeah.
It feels like it.
So
so here we are, and then I ran into a few that had a crisis, right? And usually when you reach a crisis point, that's your breaking point. Like
Mhm.
you can no longer deal with that. And so I'm thinking about everything that is happening in Southeast Kansas, that we have a large veteran population and that we have no services and we have no VSOs. So I applied to be an accredited agent, and it took just my luck.